Catus Maximus here. Hey, you gotta give this video a like because I'm reviewing the thumbs up driver. I actually found this at a junk store and I picked this up because this has been showing up at a couple of the local auto parts stores and even a couple of the discount warehouses. And so somebody ordered a bunch of these off of Alibaba. And what a weird screwdriver. This thing is just absolutely massive. Look at the size of this thing. How it's built is it has 6 different, it's kind of like one of those pens where you could push it down and you'd have different tips come out, but instead of a pen, this is a screwdriver. And what's surprising is they're trying to get $8 for this, so I suppose you'll get a pretty good grip out of it. This front piece is just one solid, it's really heavy, a real solid piece of cast zinc, and the hex is really deep. It's more than an inch long, and that's how it supports the bits. And so you're able to slide it down. It has a number 0, a number 1, and a number 2 Phillips, a T25 Torx, wherever that's hiding at, somewhere over here. There it is. Right there, finally, and then 2 different sizes of slot heads. And this might be something you would just keep in your car just because of how simple it is, and just voila, it's a bunch of different screwdrivers all in one. But it's more like a $2 or $3 kind of just a funky little item. But I just thought it was such a odd idea. You know, somebody's like, well, we're going to make a multi-screwdriver that's integrated. And I guess in that aspect, it does slide back and forth pretty easily. Once you have the bits out, they are pretty, they're reasonably well held in there. They're definitely won't push in. That's what I was kind of worried about. They have a pretty good cam action. And if we look over here at the Phillips, we'll take the number 2, wherever it's hiding out right here, I think. There we go. We can actually see that it has a pretty nice tip shape on it. It's actually going to be a nice square, pretty grippy tip. So I thought, well, at least that's something going for it. Let's take a look inside. That screw is really long. I tried pulling off this front cap, but it's like pressed in over the plastic, and then they have 3 little screws that hold it in. But here we are with the driver, and so if we just pull out one of these bits, we can see that, quite a bit of work went into it, because they had to get a 1/4-inch hex bit. They had to mold it into this little piece of plastic. They had to stamp out this little aluminum bar, and then they had to mold this little piece of plastic. So somebody spent some time on it, and I just thought this was just an interesting piece of engineering. And oddly enough, how it actually secures the bit when it slides down and then drops in through the nose, due to the geometry, it's this back piece. It kind of drops down into just a little notch. And so when you're pressing hard on it, the forces are going through both of these little plastic, or it's going through this front plastic tang and then through this aluminum bar to hold it in place. So I see that often happening with this, is that little tang breaking off. Although what they try to do is make it really close, so when you are pressing hard, the back of the bit is actually contacting the bar. So it may actually end up holding up. And how you know that's the action is because when you start sliding this down, you can see as we get near the bottom, this whole switch tilts down. And so we know what's happening is as it slides down, it's following a track like this, going down, and as soon as we get to the end, it's kind of rocking the back of this into that notch. And if we look, they even put a brass insert for the screw for the back cap, which is also surprising. And these are in various colors. I just think it's just so weird, these types of products that, let's just try to, make a pen type screwdriver and make it cheap, but not too cheap. This is kind of what you end up with, and it still ends up kind of being a gimmicky product, but I kind of like looking at it. It's just such a weird screwdriver just for, how massive it is. I mean, really, this thing, that's probably the worst part about it. Look at the size of it. It's almost as big as it's longer than the fuselage and almost as big around as a drone. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.